And okay, 9 o'clock, we're gonna, let's see, we got 8 people holding. Let's go ahead and I'm going to admit everybody right now. Admit. Let's see. Oh, look at the screen fill up.
Wait, I gotta stay on my screen now.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. We got 8 people holding. There we go. Got that under control now. Okay, view. We want gallery view. So hopefully everybody's going to pop onto Facebook right now.
Good morning.
Okay, let's see. We got Gary Nelson in, so that means Pam better be coming up too.
Maybe they're sitting side by side. Well, it's
right.
fun to see the faces of some of the people I don't know that I've ever met. So I recognize the names, but it's cool to see everybody's faces. So
yes, it is, isn't it?
And of course, a few that I know. So that's wonderful. Good morning, Carrie and Amy and Joyce.
Pam had an 8 o'clock doctor's appointment, which she's not back from yet, but as soon as she gets back, I'm sure she'll be on.
Excellent.
Awesome. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to turn the sound off so everybody doesn't hear all the doorbells ringing every time somebody wants to come in. But we're so happy that you guys all joined us. I hope everybody's comfy and, you know, they're all warm and toasty and have their mug of coffee. Hey, Lori, look at the mug I've got. What kind of mug do you have?
I've got, oh, mine's backwards. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's backwards to you, but it looks good to me.
Okay, good.
Yeah. See these cute little mugs? These are going to be our prizes when we have our wheel of prizes. Our wheel of prizes is not functioning today because NAR is not allowing us to confirm the information that we need to confirm before we put people's names on the wheel of prizes.
Well,
So
the website's not allowing it.
You know,
I don't want it to sound like NAR is, you know, preventing us from doing it.
Well, they are, but they aren't, you know.
The website's preventing us from doing it.
So we'll be doing our C2EX prize drawing for the month of January next week, and oops, gotta let somebody in. And then that way, if anybody finishes before the 31st, we can put your name in there as well. So it'll be 1 full month, and by then, I'm sure NAR will be done maintaining the site. Maybe they're adding all of those names that we didn't know were missing before. That would be pretty cool. So that's what we're doing right now. And we're going to be doing our promos this week of all of the people that sent in their C2EX stuff for January. So look for your lovely face coming on to the Nerdy Realtor group soon. So Lori, what's going on?
Yeah. So just wanted to let everybody know that the cycle for your code of ethics, the NAR cycle, you have a 3-year cycle to do your code of ethics. 2021 is the last year of the current cycle. So if you've not done your code of ethics training in the last 2 previous years, either through C2EX or through your license renewal, you may be required to do it. So you can log into NAR's website, look in your profile, and it'll tell you if you're current or not, or you can check with your local association. They will be able to let you know. But it's a 3-year cycle. So it was 2019, 2020, 2021. And then the next cycle will start again in 2022. And it's for 3 years. So you might be confused saying, well, I used to get emails that said it was 4 years, and then suddenly it was 2 years, and then it's 3 years. Yeah, we know. It was changed a couple of times over the last couple of years. But the current requirement is you need to complete it once every 3-year cycle. So everybody has to have it completed by December 31st, 2021 to be compliant. And you may have already done it. So check with your association or the NAR website, your profile in the website. So like mine is done right now, but then come January 1 next year, the new 3-year cycle starts again, and I've got to do another session during that time, which thankfully then I'll be renewing my license during that cycle and I'll be able to get it done. So just be sure to keep an eye on that as well for you, as well as your agents if you're a broker.
Very good information, because it's one of those things that we don't really think about.
Yeah, and that's one of the benefits of doing the C2EX is it includes your ethics renewal. Now, it includes it one time. It doesn't include it again, at least not as of right now. I heard that they might be doing a renewal of C2EX that would include it, but that I haven't heard anything in the last 6 months that they are moving forward with that or not.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. It was pretty quiet on the risk management front, other than the session we did last Friday with Gov Hutchinson. So hopefully you guys all had a chance to tune in to the new laws. If not, we can get you the replay.
It's on the Facebook page.
Okay, awesome.
We have it posted there. So if you got about an hour and a half that you need some background noise, it's a wonderful, wonderful webinar to listen to.
Wait. No, not background noise.
Well, no, but I mean,
Come on now.
That's subliminal. It's sinking in your brain and you don't really know that it's there, otherwise you can watch it. I mean, I gotta say, it was very good. In fact, we had people posting in the comments, best webinar they ever attended. So,
we had 90 questions in the Q&A.
And we had like 650 people on there too. So
it was amazing. So
very well attended. Very well attended.
If you've been listening in on our sessions, you will recognize a lot of the information. But he, of course, explains it in such a way that's from the legal point of view, and he goes more in depth than I would have covered or Lisa would have covered on our sessions, simply because he's a lawyer and we're not. So if you
we play one on TV.
No, we don't.
I couldn't help myself. Hey,
I don't know about these webinars. We're going to get ourselves in trouble here. So some of it will be familiar, but of course, he goes more in depth, and some of it's pretty complicated. So you definitely want to hear it from him versus from us. One thing that I will mention that he talked about was the extension of the nationwide rental moratorium. So just know that federal government extended the rental moratorium through March 31st. So they extended it by 2 months. And Gov Hutchinson referenced that California is likely to extend it longer than that. He was throwing out there 3 months, which would be the end of April, but that is not confirmed yet. He was speculating. I don't know how legit his speculation is. He may have conversations with people that are in the know. So he didn't definitively say, but we at least know through March 31st. So just a reminder, get your clients to talk to an attorney, because now it's going to be even longer.
Yeah, and I think that that's really, the best advice on a lot of the stuff that's going on out there is a lot of this is way, 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 way above our pay grade. It's a lot of legal stuff going on in a lot of rooms right now. And when in doubt, refer your client out. Tell them to go to an attorney for whichever subject it is that they're looking at and get that expert advice.
Okay.
Yeah. However, there was one thing that both you and I had a little, we weren't in full agreement with what Gov said. Yeah. As you could tell by my, Lori and I went for a walk yesterday. We went for a very long walk.
It was a 4-mile walk.
It was a 4-mile walk. And we were walking through a condo complex. It had little gates out front. And I see this notepad hanging in a bag. And I basically start, oh my God, did you see that? It's like this crazy visceral reaction. And, it got us talking about what Gov said in the webinar, which was, Lori, what exactly did he say?
Well, he was talking about door knocking, and clearly you can't do door knocking, but there were a bunch of comments in the chat and in the Q&A asking about dropping flyers. And he answered it, later in the presentation. And I was waiting for it. I was waiting for the, no, you can't do that. But instead he said, to my horror, hello, I'm hearing your echo from somebody.
That's not me.
It's not me because I don't have it on.
Are you kidding me?
Let's see. I'm going to mute all and then take Lori off.
No, you can't do that.
Okay. And hang on a second here, kids. Okay. And Lori, you should be able to unmute yourself. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. So
Somebody sounded like me over here when I have my echo going.
Well, it was me talking, but so he said that dropping flyers was a gray area, and my heart sank because I really wanted him to take the route that he always takes, which is, look, it's not specifically written in the law, but when we follow this logic, we can deduce that it would not be allowed because you can't have flyers at the properties. And my heart sank because I really wanted him to take the route that he always.
There we go.
Well, why does it keep happening?
Because somebody keeps unmuting themselves.
Okay.
We've had that happen on previous situations, not this situation, but on others.
Well, because I'm looking at this screen here of like 12 people and everyone's on mute, and there's another page that I'm not seeing. So anyways, so I was waiting for him to say, because you can't have flyers at the property and because you can't go door knocking, that dropping would just not be allowed. But instead, he left it as it's a gray area, and that dropping is not considered essential. But he left it open for, we don't really know yet. We don't really know, so don't be the test case. And I was really disappointed with that because normally he's much more conservative from that. And so my opinion on that is we have to think about public perception. And after the new year, I would say the second week of January, in 1 week, I had 2 real estate flyers dropped at my door, one on the floor, one in the screen, and then another vendor had dropped something. And I was upset about that because now I have to deal with this trash. And normally I'm all about, hey, let's advertise our businesses. But with that, it's not a good time. So that was the one thing I was disappointed with.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have a little bit of a firmer position because that really was the question of the day. I mean, everybody was asking, can I drop? Can I drop? Can I drop? And, it's like, so what do you think's changed since the last time we had this question asked? Absolutely nothing. Maybe just more people getting sick. So I don't know. I was disappointed too. I think to be looked at as a professional, at least by our peers. I'm not sure what public perception is. I drove by a sign yesterday that said, open house. And I was like going fast and probably was not the best open house sign because I couldn't tell you who it was. But I know one thing, it didn't say anything about appointments or anything like that. It was just open house and pointed up a street. And, I'm looking at it saying, do you not notice you are like the only open house? And it, it bothered me immensely. But if I was just, a regular person, because we all know that us realtors are not regular people, what is their public perception? Are they like, oh boy, it's an open house? Or are they like, who wants to go in an open house? I mean, I don't have any idea what the public thinks, but I know if I see something out there and I see a sign and, or something on somebody's porch, my opinion of that realtor has changed. And you never know who you're going to be doing business with. I mean, you never know who you're going to be doing business with. And, you can just sit there and say, yeah, that person was out there holding open houses. And, the people that were holding open houses early on, those are people's names that I am not going to forget because they were flouting the rules. They knew better. They just did it anyhow. So I really wish that we would have had a little bit clearer direction from Gov.
Okay, well, enough of COVID.
Well, if it's not COVID, what are we going to talk about? Anybody out there, in the reactions down at the bottom of your screen for our Zoom folks, if you click reactions, you can raise your hand. If you have anything you want to add to the conversation, if I see you, I will ask you to unmute, and we'd like you all to join in if you would like.
So let me rephrase. We will likely talk about COVID, and that's okay. Just we need to stop being on our soapbox about flyers. Time to move.
Obviously, though, we're not alone because a lot of people were asking about that. So, sure. Amy, good morning, Amy. Let me. Okay, you've unmuted, and I'll lower your hand. How are you, my dear?
I know, I'm doing great. It's nice to see all of you.
Nice to see you too.
I just wanted to chime in. I know you just got done saying you didn't want to talk about flyers or whatever, but I don't know. Does anyone mail out anymore? Because I get a piece of mail from a realtor. I don't even know if it's once a month, but we used to get a lot of them, and I only get one, and I never see flyers on my doorstep. So for right now, that's great and all, but I guess it depends on the complex and where you're farming and all that. But at the same time, when I see this piece of mail in my mailbox, I'm like, she is the only one I'm getting something from. So I think it's great. So I was just curious if the cost has gone up to do flyers through the mail or what.
Well, I think on the mailing front, it's just, nobody wants to spend money, and unfortunately it takes money to make money, and mailing is not cheap. If you're doing first class postage, if you're doing bulk, it's a lot of work. If you're doing every door direct, it's hard to target specific neighborhoods without bringing other ones in that you may not want to be advertising in, or you're cutting off an area that you want to advertise in, but you have to bring everybody else along. So there's options out there. And, I was a big flyer dropper. I mean, that was open houses and flyer drops. That was my MO. And, it's taken me a long time to figure out the mailing aspect, but I know nobody's getting anything. I'm getting a couple of postcards a month in my neighborhood. I do have somebody who's dropping. I did let their management know, and I'm waiting to see if I'm going to get more drops. But, the mailing's just difficult, but you'll do better if you do the things that other people don't want to do. And mailing is one of them.
Right. And then I also just wanted to say, I know you mentioned, when you saw or you may see an open house sign, it may change how you feel about that realtor or the company. And either way, depending on you and your feelings, right? Of course, it's, you may be like, oh, I can't believe they're doing that, or, oh, good for them. And the same for me, whether you're working with another affiliate or with a realtor, I know we all have our favorites, our favorite title, our favorite, buddy to go door knocking with, or whatever it may be. But I've come across, many times where, you try to talk to I'm just going to say realtor because I'm an affiliate, and they're like, oh, I don't have time, I don't have time. I have my favorite, call me later, or whatever. And that's fine, because that's okay. But at the same time, like you said, Lisa, I think it's important to be exactly who you are and be great, because when I get that kind of a response, I'm like, I could totally refer somebody to you, and I don't really know anymore because I got a certain response from them, So again, it's just all about being great and being friendly and nice and loving what you do, because it'll come off that way no matter what, whether you're busy or it's going to come off good if you're that good, right person. And I think that matters.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, because it's interesting. We're always called salespeople. And, it's like, okay, well, we can sell a house. Well, technically, the house is selling itself and we function and everything. We're having to sell ourselves to pick up the listings. It's not, selling the house, it's selling ourselves to get the house to sell. Right. And yeah, I think you really need to be true to who you are. Think outside the box and say, how am I going to make up for this inability to do what served me well, pre-COVID, to, we're in a situation, we don't know how long this is going to last. There's news every day. So, you kind of have to think, okay, what if I can't drop? What if I can't do open houses? What am I going to do? And we've had some time to think about this. So, you just really kind of have to get outside of the box and, do what the others aren't doing.
And next time you guys go walking, call me.
We're pretty close to your hood there. So
I know. Thanks for letting me talk.
Of course. I think it was really relevant what you said though about you didn't even say it this way, but from an affiliate's point of view, you are also trying to build relationships. And so we have to recognize that we're all in this game together. We each play a different role and we can help each other. And what you said about, hey, well, maybe now that changes my perception of that agent who I could have potentially had a referral for. Those are the things we have to think about. When we go to conferences too, there's hundreds of people there and, we walk down the halls and we know who's friendly and who's not. And when people are from another area, then we will take notice of who at least gave the hallway nod, the, hey, what's up kind of nod, and I want to give a shout out to Angela from El Paso. Hey, Angela, thanks for being here. Hey, if we have a referral for El Paso, Texas, we know a fellow
gal. and this is how you make those connections. And, people are always like, hey, well, my company has this referral network. Well, wouldn't you rather refer somebody to El Paso, Texas that you now know? In fact, we're going to ask Angela to unmute and introduce herself and tell everybody why she is the go-to person in El Paso. No pressure. Okay, I'm asking you to unmute. There we go.
Yeah. Hi. Sorry, my husband's here next to me.
Hi.
Hi. We own a real estate company called Success Realty. He's the broker, but he's also a full-time special education teacher. So I run the company.
She's everything.
And I also do property management. And then we have like 8 agents in our office and we help support them. But the company's been around for about 30 years. It was started by my mother-in-law. And now we took it over after she retired. And I've been doing real estate since 2001. So yeah, we've been around for a while and we've seen a lot of things and we've weathered those years.
Awesome.
So yeah, so that's us.
Cool. Can you give us a quick overview of what the real estate market's doing in your area and what are you allowed to do and what are you not allowed to do because of COVID right now?
So at the very beginning, last March, we were told to let everybody work remotely, which we kind of were anyway, because we went online with all of our office systems a couple of years back. We use Backagent for our contract monitoring. So it was kind of easy to transition that way with the agents. The office is there. Our office is small. It's just a little office. So people meet their clients there for like appointments or they can do research there, but most everybody's got a home office of their own. So everybody they were already set up. So they just kept working at home. We can show houses and we do show houses. I've recommended that our agents not do open houses. I haven't seen a lot of open houses. And our market's really good right now. We're getting multiple offers on a lot of stuff. It's getting kind of hard if you have a buyer to find a place. And then our tree pack, our Texas pack went and lobbied in Austin to get us labeled as an essential business. So when things were shutting down and things were being told to go home for, and not open, we were not part of that list. So we've always had the ability to work and go out and do our stuff, but like, I was always giving speeches to my agents, like, if you go show a house, you talk outside, you talk on one side of the driveway, they talk on the other, everybody wears a mask, you know, have your wipes there. You go around and turn on the lights and open the doors. Don't have them touch anything. Don't take extra people. This isn't like, you know, fair day where everybody gets to go look at stuff.
Yeah.
Like, just stuff like that, you know.
Good.
So that's kind of what it's been like.
Good. Well, it's similar to here. And I always think it's fascinating to talk to people from other states to hear, you know, how is it impacting their area? I'm on the NAR's risk management committee, and that is something that we did twice last year. We had in between meetings, we had group meetings, and we were grouped by states. And so we had 10 states in our group, and there are neighboring states. So Texas wasn't in that group because you were a little further away from us. Texas was in a different group, but it was great to hear the neighboring states, what's happening, because if someone plans on just driving across the border to the next state, you know, what are they going to encounter? And what is the market like if clients want to move across the border to another state, a neighboring state? So it was pretty fascinating. That's why I was curious. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I've had renters come in from other states, and but they've always looked online, and then they find, you know, they see the house when they come into town, because we have Fort Bliss, so we have a lot of military. So that was already something we were used to. But like, if you went to New Mexico, and like we're 30, 40 minutes away, 45 minutes away from New Mexico, you had to quarantine for 14 days, and then you could go out and do whatever you wanted to do, but it was limited, and then you would come back. So it was a big giant mess just to try and like go visit Ruidoso, New Mexico for like the weekend. It just wasn't possible. So, and we live like, you know, just right there next to it. So yeah, it got kind of dull in our town. Everything was closing.
Question asking, what city are you out of? Are you out of El Paso proper or suburb area?
El Paso, that's all there is. Yeah.
You never know.
So far away. There's either El Paso or Mexico or New Mexico, or lots of dirt between us and like Big Springs, or yeah. It's like an 8-hour drive to like San Antonio, and then like a 9-ish hour drive to Dallas, and a 4-hour drive to Midland, Odessa. So
well, I heard about you folks in Texas that, you know, those 8-hour drives are nothing. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go to Austin, hop in the car and go. So.
I grew up doing them because I grew up in Dallas, and but my parents are from El Paso. So they would just put us in the car in pajamas and start, because their parents never left. So we would visit here a lot. And then I ended up moving here, and we just drive. It's just a thing you do. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and we do have a couple of questions here, and I think it's not from Denise is not in the Zoom room, but Denise said, when will we see more inventory? And it sounds like Angela's got the same thing going on as we do. And, you know, we have nothing. We're close to nothing. I noticed that it wasn't quite as active crazy this weekend, but it could have been the weather. You know, people forgetting how to come out in the rain, how to drive in the rain, how to put on a raincoat, umbrella. Definitely driving, boy. So I don't know whether it was just weather or whether the buyers are saying, hey, you know, let's just take a break. I don't know. Curious if anybody else saw anything this weekend inventory wise, if hot market. I mean, it was hot, but maybe not that hot. Anybody want to raise their hand? Okay, all righty. Okay, Sean.
Hi there. Hi, Lisa.
Hi there.
Yeah, it seems like the inventory is actually slowly rising a little bit in recent weeks. And then the interest rates have also gone up a little bit. So that may have dampened the activity along with the rain. Yeah. Other things.
And Sean, where are you located?
I'm in San Diego.
Ah, Yeah, because you guys, as San Diego goes, so goes the rest of the country pretty much. You guys just do it first.
Yeah, we've had a super, super hot market here. I mean, it's just crazy. Things have been in the lower price ranges, they're selling in, like a few hours. And even in the higher ranges, they're selling pretty quickly. Everything is selling. But again, the inventory has ticked up a little bit, but it's still very, very low. But I think the interest rates also are going to be a determining factor here because, people who just barely can squeak in at, 2.75 30-year fix, if that pops up to 2.85, they're out of the game,
Yeah, I think that's something we're going to see a lot of, because everybody's hearing the ads on TV. You can get a loan for 2.5%, and so then they go out and find that, well, really nobody's ever going to get that rate from that lender. And, it's like, okay, well, you're bumping the 3 at this point. And, I think just depending on how everything goes in, the next month, I have a feeling we're going to be back up into the 3s, the low 3s. And that's going to throw a lot of people out of the ballpark. Or they're going to say, if I can't have a rate in the 2s, I'm not going to buy.
Yeah, it's also created this sort of FOMO, fear of missing out, by buyers rushing to look for something before the rates go up even further. And then I think also that, the fact President Biden has taken office, and, I don't want to get all political here, of course, but there's also, concerns about federal spending and what's that going to do to inflation and all that. And, certain people, their mindset is, well, you know what, I need to buy right now because there's some people are predicting massive inflation in the next couple of years. So, but who knows? People have been predicting that for years and years, and it still hasn't happened, at least not since the 1970s. And I'm old enough to remember that period.
Definitely. Well, and we have some, folks that post in the group that keep us, informed as to, what's happening in the financial world and, how, the deficit spending is probably, we've been doing so much of it, it's probably not going to change anything. It's just perceptions. But, it's good to keep up with the posts that come in because we do have professional writers that do post all the time in our group. So we're very fortunate there. And we do have a lot of comments that it was a hot weekend, definitely a hot weekend. I know Inez is in here. I'm going to bring Inez on after we go to Carrie and ask her for maybe she can give us a quick little mortgage update. So let's see. Try it. There you go.
There I am.
Yay!
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's interesting. Thank you for letting me speak because there's so many different things that have been brought up that I wanted to quickly touch on. If you don't mind me quickly stepping back. The affiliate realtor relationship, I love it because you get to know each other. And one thing I was talking with a realtor recently was how frustrated they are making offers and not even hearing anything back and having to stalk the property to see if it's changed status, because that's their only way to find out if their offer got neglected or denied or whatever, it didn't get accepted. So one of the comments we've had is, the next time you have a listing and they present an offer to you from a buyer, how seriously are you going to want to work with them? How seriously are you going to take them if they're not good on their follow-up? Or at least saying, hey, it's changed status. So we talk about those things because it is important. I take pride in my pre-approval letters because that's what I think. When a listing agent gets a pre-approval package from me, I pick up the phone and call them because I want them to know who I am, feel comfortable working with me. And it has made a difference on getting some of our offers accepted because it's all about your reputation. That's the way that I have really focused through my years and career is doing that. So thank you for bringing that up, Amy. That was such a great point. The market. Yeah, rates are a little bit on the rise. They go up, they go down. I don't know if you remember about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, February, they shot up a full percent in 1 week. In that week, they shot up a full percent. The Feds made an announcement, hey, we're going to raise the rates 3 to 4 times this year. That was the week my boss said, hey, you want to do the market update at the Huntington Beach Broker Preview? And I said, yeah, sure, because he sponsors it once a month. He says, but keep it positive. You followed the market this week. You know, rates went up a full percent, right? You know, the Fed. And he goes, yeah, but you're a veteran. You can do it. So I did. And I touched on, don't focus on what you can't do or how things are going. Look at what you can. So I do foresee we're going to see some rates rising. The lenders and our investors are loosening some of our standards right now. It can be good and bad. For somebody like me who formerly underwrote, I underwrite my loans to make sure the people have longevity. I check their exit strategy. I want to make sure if I'm going to help somebody get a home, that they can afford it, not for my paycheck. So these are things to think about going forward. If they can qualify and you know that they're a good candidate, the guidelines are loosening up a little bit. So as the rates increase, we'll see a little bit of push and play there where there are going to be some things. I think we're going to see with the new administration that it's been speculated that we're going to see a lot more of the, which is going to make it tough in our market, especially Orange County. We're going to see a lot more of the down payment assistance and the, like the DACA loans and things like that. It's going to make it tough in Orange County because we're so limited on zip codes and the income restrictions because of the pricing. There's always homes to be bought. There's always homes to be sold. You know, just stay in touch with your professionals. And if you have questions, reach out to a veteran. You know, I myself have 30 years. I've got so much experience as far as diversified that I'm always happy to answer questions, even for other loan officers. The better each of us look, the better we all look. So thank you for those few moments. Let me know if you have any questions.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks, Carrie. That's a great update.
Okay. And all right. And I asked Inez if she wanted to come on. Hey, Amy, great. We'll see you later. Because she had a really interesting remark here. And since I don't know if she can, I'll go ahead and read her question over in the Facebook.
She's unmuted.
Did she unmute? Oh, Inez, are you there? I guess not.
She's not.
Yeah, it doesn't show that she has a microphone option. I don't know how she pulled that off. That's pretty cool. But she had posted in the comments, a home in Rancho Santa Margarita, the seller accepted an offer $100,000 over asking. $100,000? How do we think this could affect us down the road with homes selling for more than they are worth? Yeah, I wonder if it's going to close. That's going to be my question on that. And
well, if there's no appraisal contingency and they bring in cash, it can close. But wow, I don't even want to begin to speculate what that can do. I mean, that sets a precedence for price in that area, and people are going to have to be really careful. I mean, that buyer potentially is just overpaid by $100,000. That's just crazy.
Unless they did the crazy, I'm going to underprice this so low that I put everybody into a frenzy and they're going to all be sending in a gazillion offers so I can brag. I sold the house for $100,000 over asking with, 37 offers.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
I forget that there are people that do that. And I ran across that when I was looking for a property for my daughter. That's exactly what was happening. And to me, it just didn't make sense. So I had a hard time wrapping my brain around that people actually do that, but that does make sense.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing, it's turning into a sales tactic for many. And at what, when you represent a buyer, it makes it really touchy because you're just like, okay, do you as an agent know, let's say it's out of area. Do you know if that home is massively underpriced? Is there something wrong with the house? You've got, I don't know. I think the tactic myself is not presenting a true picture of what the situation is. Maybe, I know Pam's out here somewhere. I saw Pam. Pam was on camera. Pam is off camera now. It would be really nice to hear what our professional standards queen has to say about, is that painting a true picture or not when you intentionally underprice something to drive traffic. And I think Gary ran to get her.
Yes.
And here comes Pam right now. God, I love how this works.
Hi, Pam.
Hey, Pam, did you hear the question? Let me take, hold on. let's see. Okay.
Sorry, my phone rang and I had to answer it.
We understand.
Because it was my hairdresser telling me that she could do my hair again. So that's important, you know. There are priorities. Sorry.
We totally respect that, Pam. Ask your question again, Lisa.
Okay, well, we were having a discussion about homes selling for $100,000 more than what they were listed for. And there's a lot of companies that are going around doing the, I'm going to intentionally price something super low so we can have a frenzy and have a gazillion offers and then have it sell at maybe a little, you know, over what it really should be, but they're really not presenting a true picture of the home's value. From a professional standard professional opinion, what do you think about that? Could that possibly be an ethics violation?
Well, actually it could, if you want to go through the process of turning them in, because they're supposed to do a truthful, you know, Article 12, truthful representation of the home. Article 3, we're supposed to cooperate with other realtors. But when it comes right down to it, the people that are going to be the most upset are the buyers of those properties in 3 years when we're doing short sales again. Remember, and I think the market conditions advisory is especially an important document today, because I'm not worried about other realtors now. I'm worried about the buyers of these homes coming back at us saying, you told me it was worth this. You deceived me. And it's true, the other agents aren't being truthful, and you can always file a complaint, and you can file an anonymous complaint. And if anybody sees that, but it's hard to determine market value now, basically, because if you put something at market value, what it should be, then when you get 12 offers and it bids up, maybe the original price was the right price, but the 12 bids established something called the COVID price. So unless the agent does it ridiculously low, it's going to be pretty hard to prove if they just do market value and take it from there.
That makes sense, you know, because you can go in and look at a property and say, yeah, this is right for the neighborhood. But when you compare it to other neighborhoods, you say, wow, you know, I would have thought this would have gone for more, and then it does. So that would be hard to prove. So, and I think it's important to mention that it's agents that are doing that, not necessarily the companies. We don't want to have any antitrust conversations, and I don't know that it is companies. I think it's individuals. I think from a buyer's perspective, it's very disheartening because they think something's in their price range, and then it's really not, because the agent did know it was going to be bid up, you know, 50 grand. You know, in a $600,000 neighborhood, 50 grand is a lot. So it's to attract other sellers. Look at me, I sold this property for so much more. So it does disillusion the clients, and it's frustrating for agents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways it can happen, because I know I kind of went to the underpricing, you know, part of it, and Inez was quick, who's having microphone trouble, was having quick to point out that wasn't the issue. An agent in the office, you know, had offered 50,000 over asking, and then somebody came in 100,000 on top of that. You know, there's a lot of things that cause it, and you know, you do have you know, there's a lot of people with a lot of money out there. And if they think it's they want to pay that amount of money, great. Number one, if they have an appraisal contingency in there, you know, it's going to be hard to justify that, you know, honestly. But then also too, there's a question in here regarding wording for appraisal gaps. And, you know, something that was said to me earlier this morning, you know, on a phone call I had with an agent before this, is you can put in no appraisal contingency, you can put in whatever. If it doesn't appraise, that, you know, that buyer can just find another reason to walk and bail. You know, I mean, it's right. There's not going to be anything that's going to hold you steel clad to that, because, okay, so it appraises. Oh, hey, guess what? I don't like the HOA documents. I don't like the rules in here, you know, so you know, we have to realize that you can put that in there. You can put in whatever wording you really want, but if somebody doesn't want to buy something, they're going to find a way to get out, pretty much, unless it's full contingency removal time. Lori?
I have breaking news. Breaking news from Channel 7. California lifts regional stay-at-home order statewide.
That's why I got a call from my hairdresser.
I was at 8:12 this morning. My breaking news friend is a little behind the 8 ball. But he's ahead of me, so.
Quick, everyone, go get your hair cut.
Well, I know that the numbers were dropping a little bit, you know, I mean, you still have full hospitals and things still aren't good, you know. I just be careful.
Well, the hospital availability has improved so much, and it's in that time period he required. I think it was 14 days. But I did hear an announcement several days ago from the CDC to be careful that just because the numbers are dropping, they're still very high. They're higher than way back in April, but be careful because now everyone's going to get relaxed again and go out and do anything and everything. So, you know, for me, it's like, oh, that's great, but I'm not really going to change anything that I do this morning. Apparently it was announced at 6 a.m. and we are way behind.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess breaking news is breaking for some of us and other people. You know.
I just want to be able to eat at the restaurants again. With me, I don't have a whole lot of hair to worry about in terms of a hairdresser. So for me, it's more the eating out issue.
Yeah, agreed. I'm with you on that one.
Definitely. Well, and you know, it's good to hear that we can maybe come back to a little semblance of normal, just, you know, mask up. And Pam asked who's received the vaccine. If you're in the room and you're on camera and you got a vaccine, raise your hand. Okay, so we see how well that's working. Okay.
Well, some of us are not eligible yet.
No. Only time I really wish I was older.
And I'm trying to get my dad an appointment in LA County, and it's just impossible so far.
Yeah, hopefully in the next week or so, we'll see things improve a little bit on information. And we have one comment in the Facebook. My husband got into Dodger Stadium, and that was Karen Peterson Trent. So good for him. Good for him. And yeah, it's still an interesting world, and just protect yourselves, kids. That's about all I can say about that.
I can tell you that age makes no difference because I'm probably twice as old as anybody on the screen here, except one or two, and I still can't get in. So I'm trying. Hopefully it'll work.
Oh, and we have a link in the Facebook group. I'm not sure, Karen, put in if this is LA County specific or not. I know Orange County is using a different link for, they waited 5 hours for their shot. Well, you know, it's going to be an interesting thing, and it's going to be, you know, we're living in very interesting times.
So at Dodger Stadium, that became a tailgating party.
Yeah.
Waited for 5 hours. So, well, that's awesome. I think it's important to remember, even if the stay-at-home order is lifted, we still need to verify if anything has changed on our essential work.
Yeah, this is going to be, you know, breaking news on Nerdy Realtors. As soon as we see anything, Nerdy Real Estate Resources, old habits die hard. But if, you know, whatever comes down from CAR, whatever, we'll post it in the group so everybody can have any information that we get, and hopefully that'll be good. Okay, anybody else out there in our little Zoom party have anything that they want to bring up and talk about? Come on, I see it. How about Joyce? Hi, Joyce. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's been, you know, I think it's going to be interesting to see what the appraisal issues are going to be, the pricing issues, if we're still going to see those flying through the roof with the offers. I do know that we did get a comment in the Facebook saying, I am going to be busy, from Harry Solomon. And if you don't know Harry, he's one of those guys that you know, he's been out a lot more now, but there was like times where, you know, things were horrible and there's Harry all over the place, and then things are good, and then Harry kind of climbs under a rock, and then things are horrible and Harry comes out again. He's kind of like the groundhog of foreclosures. Maybe that's, I don't know. We can come up with some name. And he's predicting he will be seen, I believe, unless you have something else out there, Harry, that you want to put in. Oh, we have the Orange County link is in there. Joyce?
Okay, I do have a little nugget that I heard about, you know, our COVID. I heard that it was mentioned to wear the blue or pink, the disposable mask, and to put a cloth mask on top of that to have a double barrier. So I did hear that on the airwaves this weekend. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they are suggesting to double mask, put cloth in front of, on the outside, and the other disposable one on the inside. So you make sure you change your disposable one every single day, and you've got your cloth. So you might not have to wash your cloth one every day. However, I still do, but you know, at least it's a double barrier.
Yeah, they actually had, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask if they explained why, because that wasn't recommended previously. So I'm curious to change why they are recommending it now.
Specifically just for, you know, so that it's another barrier. Yeah, because,
yeah.
And you know, people are still walking around with the mask and their noses out too. So, you know, that doesn't help. But I thought it was interesting that as a secondary barrier to have the double layer.
They actually had that on a CAR update, and USC did a study on it and said it's, you know, you will benefit more if you do a double mask. It'll keep you safer, but don't do a triple mask because then you won't be able to breathe. And they actually put that out there. I have it on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, because I thought it was really interesting. But yeah, it was a USC study. And something else I saw that was really interesting, and boy, do I hope they get to work on this quick, is our very own UCI is working on a COVID vaccine patch that they're hoping to have figured out how it's going to work within the year. I think they're trying to get it put together this year. So there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on out there. But yeah, USC says double mask.
Interesting.
Carrie?
It's the 3-layer rule, I think, is why. Abbreviated. I went to EMT school. I'm a volunteer first responder. I trained during H1N1. So when it came to contamination, and I was working in emergency rooms and fire departments. So I was very well trained when this thing hit. I think it's the 3-layer rule. And so many of the cloth masks are only 2, maybe 1. They're flimsy. So if you have that initial mask, because the quick thing I heard recently is a smoker can be in a room, smoke, leave the room. Hours later, you go in, you can still smell the smoke. The COVID particulates are smaller than cigarette smoke particulates. It's kind of geeky, this part of it. But so if those particulates are that small and you can still smell cigarette smoke after several hours, you need to think about the fact that the vaccine is probably lingering and they can get through a mask. So the 3 layers is always suggested. Outside layers for the weirdos, inside layers to protect you, and your middle layers to protect you, and the inside layers where all your germs are. So hopefully that kind of helps explain from my knowledge, which is what it is. Makes it make sense.
Yeah, that's definitely makes all the sense in the world. And I think Bridget says Dr. Fauci said to do this on his interview because there are not enough KN95 masks. And yeah, I'll tell you, those KN95s, I know they're not the real thing, but man, those are hard to breathe out of. You know, after a while, you're having a conversation with somebody and you're just like, hold on a second. Then you're kind of defeating the purpose of it anyhow. So it's, yeah. And even the double masking, I tried that at my clients last Friday, and it's like, okay, this is taking a lot more effort here. So at least I know it was doing its job.
Good to know.
Just another comment too. I see a lot of people, like Pam and I go walking at the mall, and particularly younger girls, they wear these little plastic things that fit across their chin and come up to their nose, but they're about 1.5 inches away from their face itself. I can't imagine how they think that does anything, because anything you do is going to flying out the sides of that thing. You sneeze, it's going to be poof all over the place. So don't wear those silly plastic things either. Angela's laughing.
Oh my. Okay. And we got a remark here saying UCSD has a patch to place on the outside of your mask that will turn red if it detects the virus. It will be released to doctors and nurses first.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy research going on out there, you know, and it's amazing. It's really amazing how quickly the scientists can just get on this stuff and just, you know, I thought the patch was amazing, but that's even crazier. So.
Yeah. Well, crisis creates opportunity, and everyone's thinking juices are flowing. And so we'll have all of these new techniques, which will be great. If they could just cure the common cold while they're at it, I mean, come on.
Well, and actually, and I'm sure Carrie's a geek enough about this based on her thing. The coronavirus is the same kind of virus family that the common cold is from. And I can't remember if it was UCI that said it could help in the prevention of colds as well as COVID.
The vaccine, you mean? The vaccine.
I think it was their patch that they were working on. Okay. I think it was them. I could have, you know, I spend too much time listening.
Yeah, because none of us have gotten sick. You know, none of us I haven't had a sniffle in a year.
Yeah, every time that you think you're catching a cold, it's like, oh my God, how can this be? I don't interact with other humans.
Can I say something? Yeah. Years ago, I asked my friend, who was an internal medicine doctor, about the cure to the common cold. And what she said, yeah, wash your hands often and never touch your face. Well, duh, here we are. That, you know, so it's the common cold's not going to go away, but you don't have to catch it. And I think we've learned a lot through this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was funny. I had a memory pop up on Facebook from being at a CAR meeting, I want to say about 3 years ago. And I took a picture of what I brought with me to the meetings, because everybody used to make fun of me. Everybody used to make fun of me. Lisa and her magic beans. I had these, you know, immunity boosting zinc pills, and I had my hand sanitizer. I had my little travel Lysol. I had a thing of Kleenex. I had all this stuff, and everybody would laugh at me. And that memory popped up, and it's like, who was ready for this? Hand sanitizing junkies. Okay, well, one thing I do want to say is Lori did bring up a good point, you know, that they're thinking outside of the box. And as we said earlier, we need to think outside of the box for our business as well. So, you know, this is a good creative time for us. And, you know, if you're thinking about something saying, I wonder if this would work for marketing, you know what? Try it. Just try it. See what happens. See if you can, you know, come up with something completely different that nobody else is doing, and see how that works for you. And if it works, come back and share it with us. Well, it's 9:58. Does anybody else have anything they want to bring up and add before we sign off? Because this was fun having you guys on.
Yeah, this was.
Hey, you know what I like best about it is just the additional input we're able to get from those of you that spoke up to add to the conversation. So thank you for doing this. This was fun.
Yeah, this was fun. We had a good group over on Facebook too. So, you know, we have a lot of good comments in there. So, you know, when and Harry says he's not under a rock. He said it'll be 2 to 3 years before we see the REO market, but short sales are more probable. So that we'll sign off with Harry's prediction. And he knows. It's been around for a while. Okay, anything else? All righty then. Well, we are going to go ahead and stop this live stream on Facebook after we all say goodbye. Everybody that was on camera, you're on Facebook again. But it was great seeing you all. We'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Bye. Have a good week.
You too, Joyce. Bye, everyone.